Howdy folks, Scott Grove, Dr. Groovy here from GroovyMusicLessons.com. Today I'm going to show all of you guitar players who don't want to be calculus majors how to play pretty much any given chord. So if you're going along and God forbid some kind of songbooks or anything like that that have just a bunch of chord symbols written down like G suspended second or B flat augmented or C9 or 11 or a 13 and you don't know what those are, I'm going to make it easier for you than anybody else out there. The people who are going to bitch and moan are just going to be people who are calculus majors and want it taught that way. I'm going to teach you how to play a guitar. I'm not going to teach you how to be a calculus major. So here's the shortcut and the 100% totally viable and oh so dead on way that I have devised to teach you how to play all these chords, providing that you actually know the notes on your guitar. If you don't know the notes on your guitar, shut this down until you do. Okay? So if you don't know where an A flat is on every string, shut this off. You're not ready. Okay? But if you think that you can possibly muster through it, it's quite easy. Okay? So let's get down to the very basics of this and go through it, because all this stuff is basics. It's guitar playing. Guitar playing is not hard. The only thing that you'll ever need is to learn how to use your fingers. As far as the thinking part of this, I'm going to make this as easy, actually easier than anybody else has ever made all this junk for you. So you'll never have a question again about how any augmented, diminished, 13th chords, 9th chords, suspended fourths, and all that stupid crap, how it's played. Okay? It's so easy, and I will make it easy for you. Anybody else that has a comment about this is in a negative light, you will be banned, shot, drawn up, and I will have your sister slaughtered. Okay? So that pretty much means I don't want to hear from you, because I'm going to teach these folks my way. If they wanted to learn it your way, they'd be on your channel. So, all naysayers, go away. You're not wanted. Okay, so you have your guitar. And, okay, all we need to do is just make sure that you know the basic major scale. Nothing else. So, like in the key of G, yes, the good old do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do thing. If you don't know it, here it is real quick. You will start this in whatever key or whatever chord you are looking at, okay? So you need to know the scale, which is this. We're going to start on G, since we're going to be in the key of G and messing around with it. Just for this particular demonstration, I'm going to go to so many chords for you and help you out. So G is going to be 3rd fret, low E string, 5th fret. Then on your A string, you're going to go 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret. And now finally on your D string, 2nd fret. Okay, here's where it gets weird, and I'll explain this in a little bit. 4th, and then 5th. So, I'm going to say on your 6th string, you have 3 and 5. Your 5th string, 2, 3, 5. And finally your 4th string, 2, 4, 5. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's the way you have to remember them. You count them, they will always be numbers from here on out. Okay? That's the secret to this. These are numbers. 1 is your root, or the name of the chord. And 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the exact same thing as 1. It's just an octave higher. So you have G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. You're like, what are all those? I told you, if you don't know the names of your notes, get out of here. Okay, really. If you're going to play guitar and you're not going to know the names of your notes, come back later. Okay, so this 7th, this is a major 7th scale, or a major scale actually. So the seventh in it is a major 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, for all intensive purposes, every time you see anything written that says major 7, it'll say like G major 7. They do that for a reason, because every other chord in the world that they will call a 7th does not have the major 7th as the 7th. It's always flatted by 1. So it would be, then, yeah, it's actually flatted 1 note. So that is your actual 7th. This is your major 7th. So when somebody says to do a G7 chord, it's actually going to include that note, not that one, because that would end up being, which ends up translating into a full chord if you voice it differently, which is known as the Vegas chord. Okay, I will get into that in a second, but know that every time I say 7, it actually means a flatted 7th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, now flatted 7th. There. Because if you're doing a G, and then you do a G7, you actually take the G and you flat it 2 notes, or a whole step, or a whole tone, depending on what country you live in. So a G major 7 would only take it back 1 fret, but a G7 takes it back 2. Okay, so that's what you have to remember throughout all of this. If I call off a major 7, that means then you actually use just 1 note flat of whatever it is. If it's an A, that means a major 7. You just find any A, it don't matter. Take it back and put everything else the way it was. So here's A, or this. So actually a major 7 would just be taking the A note and going back 1, put everything back where it was. But if I wanted to make that major 7 a regular 7, I go back 1 more, which ends up being open here. Or you can do an A here. Here's an A here. A major 7. Then A7. Then A6. Okay, so now let's get into the way all this actually works and how it makes it so easy. Okay, for anybody who I haven't scared off yet. Now let's start off with the stuff that's just going to blow your mind on how easy it is. Let's go to a D chord for a lot of this. Okay, so finding our notes on this. You're going to start on D. You don't want to start on an open one because we have to do that scale. Okay, but we're going to do it with a flatted 7th now. Even though it doesn't sound like the song or the little thing, we're going to do it with the flatted 7. So now it's the same looking thing as we did before, but now we're starting here. Now flatted 7. So now you're looking at 5, 7, next string, 4, 5, 7, and then next string, 4, 5, 7. So it helps you out this way when it's just 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, because that gives you your actual 7th, not your major 7th. Okay, so if you think about it this way, from here on out, your scales will be really easy to play, and your notes will be easy to find when you know that you start here, and the next 2 strings down are going to contain those same 2 notes, and then just the note before on the next 2 strings. So you have then. Okay, and that's counting 1 through 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so you've got a D. You see a chord written down. It says D suspended 2nd. Screw what suspended means. We're going to say it means add. Okay, or take away. Don't matter. What it means, all you're looking for is the number 2, because there's a 2 there. It'll just say A sus 2. Get rid of the sus. There's no reason for it. It's short for suspended. Screw that. Okay, what is the 2 in a D? You're like, what do you mean, Scott? Right here, when you're starting in D and you go 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the 2? 1, 2. What note is that? That is an E note. If you don't know your notes, get out of here. Come back later. So that means you have to put an E note in with your guitar chord. with your D chord. And that is it. That's all D suspended second means. You have to put a 2 in there somehow. So you take the chord, and whether you have to add it or whether you have to take something away does not matter, as long as you put a 2 in there. And again, that 2 is going to be an E. 1, 2. So you have a D chord. Okay? All you have to do is look at it. Find out what is the nearest E. Well, you can try to get one up here, but it sucks. Or you can simply lift off. You've got a high E string here. Take the finger off there, off that high E string that's on the 2nd fret. Just take it off. Now play your chord, because you just put an E in there. There's a D suspended second. Okay, so all you do is put a second in there. 1, 2, a second of the scale. Okay, there's another one. You could do the same thing on the low end if you like it. It's all about the voicing. So if you want the second, usually in the higher register, all these things in the higher registers can sound better. In the lower register could muddy things up, but here's an example. There's an E right here to be found on your D string. But it's nice to have a D note in your D chord. But you can add the E right here. That is theoretically correct, but this one sounds better. Okay, so just go for the voicings that sound better. Know that changing the voicing, whichever note you're adding or taking away, is going to sound better the higher up in the frequencies, or the higher up on the frets, or the higher up in the whole build of the chord. It's going to sound better because it sounds better on your highest note in the chord than it does as your lowest note. It just sounds better. Okay, so remember that. Okay, you're going to see the only other suspended you're ever going to see is going to be the suspended 4th. So same thing. Go again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What note's that? That's a G. Why is that? Because it is. Learn your notes, people. So you go back to a G, or your D chord, and you got to add a D to it. I'm sorry. A G chord. I'm just making things more difficult for myself. Okay, you have a D chord, you're going to add a G note to it. Get my train of thought back. Cool. So the 4th is a G. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a G note that you have to add to this D chord. Pardon my guitardedness there a second ago. Okay, so you have your D chord, and you need a G. Well, by golly, and you want to place it as high as you can for it to sound good, because I told you so. And where's the closest G? Well, you can either lift this finger up and you have this, but that's not the highest G you can easily play. The highest G you can easily play is right here. Put your pinky, 3rd fret, high E string, that's a G. So you have this. Okay? So there's your D suspended 4th. You just added a 4 to it. Before we just added a 2 to it by actually taking something away, but we added an E note to our D chord. So now we have D suspended 4, D chord, D suspended 2nd, back to D. Okay? Heard that a million times. That's D, D, D suspended 2nd, D, D sus 4. Okay, it's just a bunch of crap, you know, the way they write it out. They should just write D4 or D2 and leave everything alone. But that's all it is. You're putting a 2 in there, you're putting it back to normal, you're putting a 4 in there. Okay, so those are going to be your only suspended things. Everything else beyond that, you're going to freak out on. Not too bad. Let's go right up the numbers. Is there going to be a, like say a D3? No, because you have a root, a third, a root, a third, and a 5th, and another root. So there's 1, 2, 3, there's your 3rd. And if you go on to find this A note, starting from D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A is your 5th. So chords, major chords, are made up of a root, a third, and a 5th. That's why there's no such thing as a D3rd or a D5th, or you'll see them written, but that's for the bass. You put another note in the bass. So if you have a D and it says 5, which is A here, and it says D5, that actually means they want you to put another 5, this A, because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, they want you to put a 5 in the bass, which is another A there. So you have a D chord and add an A to it. So if you ever see something like that where it has a 5 and you're like, wait, I already got a 5, that means they want you to put another one in there, down here. So they are wanting the low one, okay? And the 1s, 3s, and 5s usually sound fine and dandy. The 5ths always sound better than the 3rds. But you'll see a 5 a lot more than you're going to see a 3rd. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's keep on going. You're going to see D6. What do I do? Same thing. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means you need what? A B note. So you're in D. What do you do to get a B note? Well, you got a B string. So get rid of your D. Get rid of that note. You're like, well, I need a D in there. You still got a D string. Play it. Just get rid of that note. Okay, there you go. D6 chord. If you want to make any of these sound different, change the voicings. You use the exact same thing. Here's D. Okay? Now I can make this a D6 by simply going, because there's that B note. So here's D, here's my root, 3rd, 5th, and then a 6. That B note. Okay? So there's all kinds of ways you could do that. I can even do it this way. You just have the same notes, use them in different configurations. Different configurations simply mean different voicings. So they sound different even though they're exactly the same. Okay? Just like D here, and D here, and D here, and D way up here are going to sound different just because they're voiced different. Or D here, or D here, or D here. Okay? So now if you find a D7, what is it? You just flatten the D down to a 7th. Or now, since we're using the right scale, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's going to be a C note. So you take a D chord, put a C note there. So you change that D down to a C, put the rest of your fingers back where they were. There's D7. If you want a D major 7, all that means is flat the root, or your 1, by 1 fret. So now you have D, then flat it, so you can just do this, and you have D major 7. Or you can do it here, where it looks like an F chord, and then you got to flatten your highest note. Remember, your highest note is always going to sound best when having to alter things. So now, there's D. I'm going to take that one back for a D major 7. And then D7, I could go back one more. But a huge difference. D7 is more for blues, country, rock, all that. The only time you're ever going to use major 7 is when you're trying to make things pretty. Okay, doo-wop groups use them a lot. Okay, the other things that are going to freak you out, that have probably always eluded you, and here's where all the calculus majors out there are going to start throwing a hissy fit. So you guys might as well shut it off right now if you're one of those people. Because here's the easy way to learn. Everything after the 7ths, so when you get to your 9th, the chords you'll see are 9th, 11th, and 13th chords. Okay? You'll see a D9. You'll see a D11. You'll see a D13. I'm going to tell you the easy way and the 100% truthful way. People try to put all kinds of crap in here and will give you a book 3 miles thick to explain how these are done. Here's how you do it. All the chords that have a number in them above 7, you keep the 7 and you just add whatever number you need to 7 to make the chord you're after. Meaning if you're looking for a D9, so you will play a D7. Okay, so let's do a D7 because we needed that C, we already went over it. Okay, but 7 plus what equals 9? 7 plus 2 equals 9. What's your 2? D. 1, 2. It is your E note. So you are on a D7. So 7 plus 2, which is your E string. So take the note off the E string and play the chord. There's D9. 7 plus 2. All the other chords are going to be 7 plus whatever it is to make the thing. So you have D11. 7 plus what equals 11? 7 plus 4. So you add, so you're going to play a D7 and add a 4. What was our 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. G. So you play D7, add the 4, the G. So there's that. Okay, there's D11. It's that easy. D13. Okay, D7. 7 plus what equals 13? 7 plus 6. So you play a D7 and you add the 6th. I told you it was going to be this easy. And everybody out there is shitting a brick right now that teaches theory. But this is 100% correct. So we got to find our 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. B note. Okay, so here's where she gets tricky. We have, okay, a 7th chord. Now we need a B note. The easiest one to get to is where we've already made our 7th, but we have to have the 7th there because 7 plus a 6. So we can't just simply flatten that down. So we need a note that's 1 away from this. Okay, so there's your 7th. You need a 6, so you need a B note somewhere. There's one there, so that sucks. Okay, so let's regroup. Let's build. So now let's do, so there's a D chord here. Make it a D7 and add a B right here. Okay, and there's D13. See, D7 was here. And now we just add the B note that we need, which is a 6. 7 plus 6 is 13. I didn't say it was a pretty chord, just said that's what they're asking for. D13. So on every chord, don't matter what chord it is, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, don't matter. If they want a 9th chord, an 11th chord, and a 13th chord, you do a 7th chord and then add whatever other number will get to you to that number. Again, if you're playing C and you're playing C7 and you need a C9, okay, so you need 7 plus what equals 9? 2. So you start from C. 1, 2, oh, I just need a D note. So I'm on C7, but I need a D note. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? You find a D note. So you have a 7th chord. You put a D note there. But you got to keep your 7th there because there has to be a 7th plus whatever. So C plus, now you need an E. That's one way to do it, but it's a low sounding one. So let's go up here and do a C7. So it's always nice. Here's C7. And I need to add what? C, D. Okay, so I need to add a D. Do we have a D in range yet? We have a low one. Okay, well, look at this. We can actually take off our 3rd and put a D here. So we have our 2nd and our 7th and our 5th. Another 5th, just another G, same as here. Just add more to make it cool. We can, so there's a C9. Okay. If you want a C11, so you have a C7. Always start with the 7th. So we're going to go C11. So what, 7 plus what equals 11? 7 plus 4. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can play a C7. And the 4 was 1, 2, 3, 4. An F, C7. And you have to add an F. Easy. Flatten out that finger so it's covering 2 frets and you're grabbing the F on the high E string. Okay? Yep, there's our 9. Or you can actually play it up here and it sounds great. Okay? So that's how you get all these things. It's no more difficult than that. The last couple things will be like your au gratin potato, no, your augmented and diminished. You might want to write these down. These are things that will just happen, and now you get to learn what makes them happen. Okay, a diminished chord. Okay, like say, let's just go to D. All these other ones you can figure out on your own because I just made them easier for you than anybody will ever make them. Okay, what happens on a diminished? Okay, you have, if you start with the first chord, you actually leave your 1 notes where they're at, so your Ds. And the other 2 things that actually happen is you have to flatten your 5th, which is your A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A. So you have to flatten your A, so now you have this. That's not it. Okay, but we have flattened that. Now we have to do a flat 5 also. Okay, so that means, so we did the flat 5. Here's the flat 3. So you're going to flatten your 5th and your 3rd. So now we have this. Okay, so you can go about it that way. That is one diminished, and also you can double flatten. Okay, just know this. I'm not saying they're pretty. Landscaping crew out there working, so don't mind the noise. So you flatten everything but your root. So you flatten your 3rd and 5th, the other 2 notes. So you just take them both back if you want. And you've got to diminish that way, or you can also do a 7th. Not a major 7th, but a 7th along with it, and that takes everything back 2 frets, except for your low D string. Also a diminished. Okay? So you flatten your 3rd and your 5th for a diminished, both of them. And then if you choose to, for just a different voicing, you can also double flatten here, your 7th, or just go take it as a 7th. Take your D back to 7. Okay, there's a diminished. There's also half diminished. You got the exact same thing. This, where you flatten everything, but you do the major 7. As gross as it is, that's what it is. Okay, so that's it. Diminished, you just flatten your 3rd and 5th. Then you have the option to go to a 7th, depending on what you need out of the chord. But there's still a root there because you're using your D string. So D major, D diminished, D diminished a little more. Okay, here's D, D diminished. Take the root note down to a major 7, and that's called D half diminished. Okay, augmented is nuts. Here's your, you just take the 5 and sharp it. Okay, so if it's A, you go to A sharp. You'll hear that on a lot of old 50s tunes. Da, 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 da. Oh yes, I'm the great pretender. Very good example. But you'll hear Eddie Money. Baby, hold on to me. Okay, so that's an augmented chord. Don't matter. C. So your fifth is your G, probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you know? It's a G. Okay, so you sharp your G. So how do we do it? We take the finger we're already using to sharp things with. You can sharp it here. Gotta love paid labor. Okay, so you just sharp the fifth. That's all there is to an augmented chord. So whatever the 5 is, you put it up 1. If you're up here in C, the 5th is right here, the G, and you just sharpen it. Or if you're just playing a big C chord like this, you can actually, what's the note we're looking for? G sharp. We can actually go from G to G sharp. As gross as it is, we can switch it around, make it into this. Or you can play a C and then find your G and sharp it, okay, which would actually give us this. Again, the higher the better as far as all your changes go. Okay, so you're ending up with that okay, again, 50 stuff. So anyway, that is it. There's no more to it than that. So all you people who've been wondering, God, how do I figure out all these wacky ass chords, blah blah blah. Of course, a minor, all you do is flat the 3rd. So whatever the 3rd is, you flat it 1 fret from a major to a minor. Beyond that, that's pretty much all you're going to need. Everything is how it sounds. Just base it off the major scale, flatten that 7th from the major scale for everything. Unless it says major 7, always assume that a 7 will be 2 notes flatter than your root note. Okay, so that's it. Scott Grove, GroovyMusicLessons.com, taking hopefully a lot of the mystery out of the simple bullshit, which is suspended stuff, augmented, diminished, and especially the 9, 11, and 13 chords that you'll never play, but if you ever want to know how to play them because they appear in your church book or in your devil book or whichever book they're in, hopefully they're not in any book, then anyway, that's how you do them. Nice, easy, and correct. No matter what anybody else tells you. Why do I do this? I don't know, but because people will bitch at me. That's not the right way to teach them. Yeah, it's the right way. Everybody else's shit just takes way too long to get you the exact same results. So there you go. All wrapped up in a nice, tidy 30-minute package. Enjoy, folks. Bye-bye.